Hi guys, and welcome back to another DrAce video, and today we're going to be playing Ride 4 once again. Now the idea of today's video is going to be tips and tricks on how to get better at controlling the motorcycle, particularly under braking. Quite a few requests in my channel and a few on my social medias that have requested some sort of video or some sort of advice and guide on how to get better, whether that would be trail braking, hard braking, or just gradually bringing on the brake and hitting the apex. Hopefully in this video we're going to cover all this and give you a rough idea on how to get better at Ride 4. So here we are in the beautiful Sugo track on board the Honda CBR 1000RR, the 2008 model to be exact. Now the reason I've chose Sugo is it's a great track for undulation, braking zones, trail braking areas, and just general good quality track. I really like this track. It was in a lot of the other previous ride games and still pretty fresh in my memory, so I decided to jump on this one. So as you can see in the bottom right hand corner, we do actually have the tyre wear and the meters for throttle, brake and rear brake. I thought it'd be very important for you guys to look at this as we do a few laps around Sugo before I break it down to you, so you can get a rough idea on how hard I'm braking for some particular corners, how late we let go of the brake, and how early we also brake for some of the tighter corners. This video is not necessarily about so much the acceleration and the controlling out of the corners, but I will touch base upon that because I think it's quite important. So speaking of braking then, the question that rose so many times in the videos, not even in my videos, I've seen in others as well, that the braking was an issue for a lot of the newcomers and maybe just people who just aren't quite as experienced as the others just quite yet. And the first thing I would say straight away is braking is all about positioning. It's imperative to have the right position before you hit the brakes. If you brake full lean angle, as hard as possible, you're going to go straight into the kitty litter or whatever the off-surface track is. And second to positioning of the bike, it's rider positioning. So if you're going to be braking from 300 kilometers an hour down to about 90 kilometers an hour, you have to make sure that your bum is well and truly parked in the seat. So with this, obviously since we're playing the video game, we will be pushing back on the left analog stick. As we push down, our rider shifts his weight backwards, and as we push forward, his rider weight shifts forward. So as you'll notice for turn 1, it is full brake until about 6 bike lengths away from the actual apex, and then in my experience and the way I like to play, I have quite an aggressive style, so I will begin to gradually let go of the front brake until about the apex. Still hold the triggers until about halfway during the apex, and as I begin to hit the apex I'll let go and begin to accelerate. So what happens when you neglect rider positioning and enter the corner a little bit out of control, unstable if you will? The pros can usually handle this. The bike looks really cool because it starts skipping, it starts sliding, very similar to Sam Lowe's braking style and Jack Miller's, but it's not controlled well and it's not good for the tyres. So in this turn 1 demonstration, you're going to see it's very out of whack, it's making some wacky and wonderful shapes and it's bucking and weaving. It is not the ideal way to enter turn 1 in Sugo. So next we're just going to look at the gameplay again. And I want you to pay attention to the styles and different corners and how to exit and enter some of these corners. Because some of these don't require much braking at all, because engine brake is your friend. When you come off that throttle, and you're not pressing any other button, engine brake is your friend and will slow you down. I have engine brake still on the max because I think engine brake's imperative for stopping a bike such as the Honda CBR, but the same with every single corner. Positioning is so key. You have to get the positioning right to actually make the corner work. If you don't get the positioning right, the corner will never ever work. And in a lot of these corners you will see that it's all about lining up with the rumble strips. For me, this is the easiest way I've always learned. The rumble strips are always there to help you. The rumble strips give you an indication of where you should be braking, where you should be positioning yourself, and how to enter the corners. I don't know if the actual guided racing line is of any use this year. It's something I've never used. I've always looked just simply at the track, looked into how the black lines demonstrate where the bike should be, and got an idea of how to get the best grip. In these videos and this clips I'm showing you, I really want you to pay attention to the brakes, because a lot of gamers, especially car gamers, when they play a motorbike game, they brake extremely late and they full brake and neglect the rear brake. Now the rear brake on Ride 4 is lethal. Let me tell you, it's lethal. If you are going to use the rear brake, you must use it sporadically. The perfect example is the horseback corner turn 8 in Sugo. For me, that requires a little bit of rear brake. Not too much, because too much will send you into oblivion, but just the right amount will help you slow the rear tyre down. Because at the end of the day, you want both tyres to be going roughly the same speed. So now I'm just going to show you some gameplay of my racing in Phillip Island. I was 1.5 seconds back at about 4 laps in, chasing down Bjorn Sigurdsson, whilst I was on the Honda CBR 1000RR. It was quite a challenge to chase him down. This was on the hardest difficulty, of course, and I was only using the stock tyres. As you can see with the bottom right hand corner, the tyres are getting very, very hot and don't have much life left considering we're only a third into this race. Now, the reason I wanted to show you the tyre wear is to show you how important it is to continue braking the correct way. Because when you start taking risks and you start pushing the bike too much, the tyre wear drops, making these corners just even more harder and tougher. It's very difficult to overtake when your tyres are dying or dead, so that's why we have to learn to make sure we brake properly throughout the whole duration of the race. When racing online competitors, or even just against the AI, they will occupy the certain parts of track that you want as well. And you cannot barge them out of the way, because that's not how we do things here. You have to find a way to adapt and overcome to these situations, with the right tyre life, the right setup, and of course the right cornering. Preparing for the actual overtake, in my opinion, is about 3 or 4 corners before. The key to a good overtake is preparation, regardless of the tyres being dead or full of life and healthy. So I'm going to show you in this gameplay how I managed to chase down Bjorn, and again with the aid of the brakes in the right hand corner, I'm hoping that it will give you an indication of how hard I'm braking, how gentle I'm braking in some of the corners, where to save tyre life and where to expend it. So guys, I hope this video has helped so far with the in-depth look of how to brake and how not to brake in some corners, where to brake strong and heavy, and where to gently just tap the throttle or even introduce some rear brake. Blipping the rear brake is a great thing, but do not hold it because you will get fired off. I hope this tutorial or advice and tips has kind of helped. It's something I've never done before, so you'll have to excuse me if this wasn't what you were looking for. Be sure to leave me a comment down below so I can understand where to improve from this and where you guys may be still having issues and difficulties. But I'm hoping with what I've shown you so far, it's sufficient to get you racing with some of the best riders in Ride 4. I certainly don't profess to know everything, but I would like to think I have quite a lot of experience, and most of it is just through practice. From practicing on MotoGP 06 to now the latest Ride 4. Well guys, I thoroughly hope you enjoyed the video. I've had a lot of fun making it, and I've really enjoyed reading all the comments on my Ride 4 review. So I hope you enjoyed it, and if you did, please like, comment, and subscribe, and I shall see you next time. Ciao for now.